Hello, I'm John Martin. This video is about the sources and the many applications of KELEA activated water. It's a follow-up video on the one I recently did on the alternative cellular energy or ACE pathway. In that video, I explained that cells not only get energy from metabolism of food, but also from an environmental force that I call KELEA, an abbreviation for kinetic energy limiting electrostatic attraction. Now, water can be a carrier of KELEA, and KELEA activated water has many applications which I'll go through in this video. But first, let me just review the sources of KELEA activated water. The first one is that it can be naturally available at certain locations. And I'll give details of a particular location in Southern California in a further interview. In addition, one can place regular water, or particularly distilled water, in an environment where external energies are being created that can act on that water and bring KELEA into the water. A simpler approach has been to put various devices into the water to radiate KELEA, and the most common approach has been to add chemical compounds or even gas into the water. The chemical compounds can be insoluble, in which case the activated water can just be passed along above or in contact with the particles and then move forward, or it can be soluble materials. All of the chemicals are characterized by having dipolar content, in other words, areas of separated positive and negative electrical charges. When they are soluble, they can either be left in the water if they're non-toxic, or they can be removed by zero residue filtration, or in the case of homeopathic remedies, they can be diluted out by serial dilutions. So these are the approaches to produce water, a wide range of approaches. It's not as if the KELEA level is 0 and 100%. There are all grades of activation of the water that can go from water that has some measurable but still useful KELEA activity to water that has pretty extraordinary levels of activity. More complicated to make, but more spectacular in its results and applications, particularly in human use. But the broad uses of KELEA activated water include health, and that's for humans and animals, agriculture, industrial applications, and a number of domestic or household applications. In terms of medical, I think the best way of looking at that is where there are illnesses explainable by an insufficiency of cellular energy from the metabolism of food. In other words, the food metabolism pathway is not working well. This can occur if there's an impaired ability or inadequate intake of oxygen, which is necessary for metabolism, like pulmonary disease, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, lung fibrosis. It can be then there's not enough blood supply to maintain metabolism, as in cardiovascular, cerebrovascular, peripheral vascular diseases. There can be an impaired metabolic processes, like the pathways are not working normally, as in diabetes, or if there are toxins present. And there can also be increased energy demands, as occur with infections and during wound healing. Now, an additional component is with cancer cells. Often the cancer cell, which ought to have gone through a suicidal process called apoptosis, that pathway is impaired, or the pathway to mature into a normal cell is impaired. In some circumstances, providing energy through the alternative cellular energy pathway can promote apoptosis or even maturation or maturity of the cells. Finally, the one that I won't emphasize in this video but is extremely important, I really think the brain serves a big purpose as being a natural receiver of KELEA coming into the body. What it also says that in that higher state of brain functioning, that's where people are realizing the, quote, joyfulness of living, the gratitude for living, that higher appreciation of living. If that system is impaired because there's insufficient KELEA or the ACE pathway is not working well, people don't have that elevated level. Not only that, their brain is no longer working as a good receiver of energy. Now, if I switch from the medical applications, many of which are applicable to animals as well as humans, into broad agricultural uses, activated water is more efficient when it's used for watering plants or in agricultural uses. The plants will grow faster. Well, first of all, the seeds will germinate more efficiently. There'll be a higher percent of seeds that will germinate. And there are some interesting side observations. With hemp seeds, there's more female plant formation rather than males, which is a benefit to the hemp farmers making CBD oil. So there's more rapid growth. The products, or when they're harvested, have a longer shelf life. They generally have a better appearance, taste, vitality. So there's a big benefit to the farmer. Nowadays, probably the best benefit, there can be a major reduction in the amount of fertilizer required to propagate the plants. And also the amount of pesticides can be reduced. So enormous advantage. Now if we switch to industrial application, but the first big one, there's a correlation between KELEA and chemical energy. One example of that, enzymes work better, but it also means that one can add chemical energy into fuels, gasoline and diesel fuels. They burn better. You get more mechanical work, so there's better mileage. Farmers see that if they use KELEA to activate diesel fuel, they know how far the tractor was going on regular diesel fuel, and they can get that extra 10% or more productivity from their tractors using KELEA activated fuel. So too can truck drivers and others. But the major one in the industrial application, it's easier to transfer heat into activated water. So all those processes like energy generation, heating, ventilation, air conditioning that involve heat transfer are more efficient if there's additional KELEA in the water. Also, the piping used in these heat exchange activities, there's less scale formation if the water has a higher level of KELEA, and even the existing scale in the pipes can become reused. So what we're looking at now is a sense of multiple ways of getting water, KELEA activated water, huge number of applications, probably many, many more to be discovered. And so where do we go from here? The two models, one is just to forget about everything except one item, focus on that, try to get that one developed, and then move to other items. The other one, somewhat more bold, is to say the KELEA concept can lead to a transformative, almost paradigm shift, and it could be taken on as a widespread endeavor where benefits in one area will provide useful feedback to the other area. That's the approach that I would like to see occurring. In other words, look at all of the different ways in which people are making water, evaluate it to see which ones are least providing a beneficial level of activation, what devices and so forth, and then begin to pair up different sources of water with the different applications. I would like to see that program move forward. I would like to see a non-profit entity, which I call MI Hope, involved in that, basically to provide a clearinghouse for bringing information about the applications of KELEA activated water. If people are interested in participating in this endeavor, they're very welcome to send an email. I'll give the email address, and we can begin to see how people might wish to participate in an overall transformative endeavor. Thank you very much.